The second race of the weekend at the Lausitzring, Jack Aitken on pole position and Marco Wittmann alongside, starting from the front row of the grid for the first time since 2021. Thomas Preining third, going for second into turn one. He got up the inside of the BMW and it was a tight squeeze into turn two. There was contact between the BMW, the Ferrari and the Porsche, and Thomas Preining sent through the gravel trap with big damage to his suspension. The suspension broken. The Austrian driver failing to finish a race in the points for the first time in 36 races. So Aitken led, Wittmann second, and from 8th on the grid, René Rast up to third. Lucas Auer going for third place, but some contact with him as well, sending the championship leader through the gravel trap. Then a massive lockup for Marco Wittmann at the end of the very quick straight into turn one from 255 kilometres an hour down to 90. The brakes not working for him. On the grass he went. He lost second place to Rast, and then he dropped down the order with more and more ABS braking issues. The team got him to try and reset the problem. And then contact between the McLaren of Ben Durr and the Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti, who had come from 20th on the grid up into the top 10, but this incident dropped him back to 15th place. Aitken versus Rast then became the theme of the race, and the BMW with its tyres up to temperature getting alongside the Ferrari, which had just made its first pit stop on cold tyres, and René Rast got through into the lead of the race thanks in part to a very good pit stop from the Schubert Motorsport team, which was around about a second quicker than the stationary time for Aitken. However, the safety car then came out immediately after the move, Rast timing it to perfection. The safety car out because of debris on the circuit. On the restart then, Rast leading from Aitken, Maro Engel from 9th on the grid up to 3rd, from 12th on the grid, Jordan Pepper up to 4th place, Thierry Vermeulen and Lucas Auer also in the top 6, and just behind, action-packed start to the race for Nicky Tim, who got himself into the mix as well from 17th on the grid. A good overtake on the way into turn one. On board with Arjun Mining right behind the McLaren of Timo Glock, and looking to get up the inside on the way into turn 8. The door closes, contact between them, and the Mustang sent into the gravel trap. He did rejoin into the pit stop window then, the second pit stop window in this second race of the weekend, and the top 4 all leaving it late. Rast and Aitken coming in absolutely nose to tail. A race between the two pit crews. Rears changed first, then fronts, but once again the Schubert team with the quicker pit stop. Aitken though did manage to stay ahead of Engel and Pepper. So Rast going into the final 10 minutes or so of the race, leading the way as they all rejoined. Those 4 on cold tyres, and the yellow Mercedes of Jules Gounon coming after them with his tyres up to temperature. It then boiled down to a 3-way fight for the lead of the race. Rast versus Aitken versus Gounon, and Jules Gounon, the French Andorran, having a lack up the inside of Jack Aitken on the way into the 11th turn, but contact between them just about avoided, and remaining in 3rd place was Gounon. That meant that Jack Aitken was going to have to go and try and get the lead of the race, and this was a beautiful move around the outside at turn 6, and then down the inside of the 3-time champion, the British driver, into the lead of the race in the closing stages as Rast started to struggle with the tyres on his BMW. He now was having to fend off Jules Gounon, who was all over him in the Mercedes. So Jack Aitken on his way to a brilliant victory coming out of the final turn, his 5th win in the DTM, but it was going to be side by side for second place as Jules Gounon, coming out of the last corner on the last lap of the race, drew alongside René Rast, absolutely together. The BMW almost into the wall. They crossed the line together, but just holding on to second place by 45 thousandths of a second was Rast. Gounon though with a great drive from 13th on the grid to 3rd. Also a great drive from Mirko Bortolotti from 20th to 6th for the defending champion. But what about this for a photo finish? An absolutely scintillating race then at the Lausitzring. This was where Jack Aitken got his first ever DTM win, and he now becomes the 3rd different winner of the season. Confirmation of the results: Aitken, Rast and Gounon on the podium, with Pepper 4th, Engel 5th and Bortolotti an excellent 6th from near the back of the grid. The next rounds of the championship take us to Zandvoort in the Netherlands.